This is the Realty Classroom Podcast, episode number 47.
Welcome to the show that focuses on helping real estate agents build a bulletproof business plan so that they can sell more properties in less time and live a more fulfilled life.
Are you a real estate agent with an entrepreneurial spirit who wants to turn your job into a business without sacrificing your lifestyle, but you just can't seem to find the right plan to help you get there? Well, then, hey, you're definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Realty Classroom and the host of this podcast. And to help you take immediate action to build a better real estate agent business. Yes, it's for veterans and rookies because it's a wireframe and it's a free jumpstart course and it's sitting waiting for you over at freeagentgift.com. So get over there and get started on demand, digital, easy to access. Now, in this episode, I was a little fired up this week, and I'm coming off a lot of coaching, multiple calls, and somebody asked me, what had I had for coffee this week? Because it seemed like I was really fired up. But really, truthfully, it's the passion. It's the passion that I have in my own company, in my own book of business to get this right. And as I talk about a lot, I get a lot of questions in coaching. Do you think I should move to this company or that company? Did you hear that this company's hiring all these agents? And you know what I don't hear a lot of? I don't hear a lot of questions about what's in it for the consumer. What's in it for the seller? What's in it for the buyer? And how much we're really working on what it is that we can do to be better with them. We're always so worried about what we have, and that's a taker's mentality. Look, don't get me wrong. I feel the same way. How do I make my business better? What do I need for my business? It makes sense to be a self-preservationist in business. But the theme here is give them what they want. Give them what they want. Okay, that's the theme here today. And the very first point is something that you've probably heard. If you're any kind of a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, I love the guy. He's a hustler. And he really latched on to that concept, which is not new. Gary didn't make it up. It's been around forever. I heard it from a lot of internet marketers well before I ever heard Gary speak. But I'll give him credit for saying, give, ask. In other words, I mean, you could debate that. Is it give, ask, give, ask? What is it? The concept is simply to be a giver first. And I've always felt like that way, but oftentimes it was more intuitive. I just did it. I just gave insight. I just gave information. Whatever it was in the context of real estate, I was happy to give. And if I didn't know the answer, I was happy to be a resourceful person to go get and then give. But I've always had that mentality. But today I want to formalize it. I think that it's very difficult to be successful in this type of a business if you don't wake up thinking, what can I give to whom? The consumer. What is it that I can give? And I get why. When you're nervous and anxious that there's not enough business out there, what happens is you develop this mentality of scarcity. And it's a very real, dangerous place to live. Worry and anxiety and the emotions that attach to them are actually ruling the day. They are your boss. You work for them. But there is a way out, and that is giving first. If you will just trust the concept of giving and how powerful it is, and you think about all the great historical figures that have been incredible givers, they gave everything, the shirt off their back, right? I don't have to give the examples. You go find them yourself. The greatest givers of all time. Google it and study those people. How in the world could somebody be so altruistic and get enough of what they needed? Well, see, that's the principle here that's at work. If it's this law of reciprocity, and let's just call it with the world. If you have a reciprocal relationship with the world and you want something from it and you give, it's inevitable that it comes back. And I don't mean with everybody. You know, you don't lean on this advice here today and say, well, Danny, I gave, and nothing came back from that guy or that gal or this seller or that buyer. That's not the point. The point is to just make it your overall strategy to say, I'm first of all going to give to sellers. I'm going to give to buyers, right? But then that begs the next question. What? Well, I bring up the next point here. And giving them what they want is, what do they actually want? So the other day, what was happening is I was doing one of our campfire meetings for the TRC, and that's very basic training. so that we always are rechecking the foundational pieces and welcoming in new people so that they can get the right foundational points in place before they start. And so what we said is, look, in the hero's story, the hero is not us. And that's the problem. When you're asking, you feel like you're the hero. It's all about me. No, it's not. It's about the hero who is the seller and the buyer. So we have to understand that they have a problem that oftentimes they can't articulate. So you simply enter this as the guide. Well, I know as a guide who's knowledgeable, you know what they need. But that ignores how to start the relationship with the hero. It skips too many steps. Well, look at what you need is this. And then we sound all righteous. Don't go there. First, ask yourself, what does a seller want? And all of a sudden, it hit me the other day how obvious this is. And I'll use Zillow as an example of somebody that hijacked this opportunity. When I say hijacked it, they're not even a brokerage. But they saw from the outside looking in what the consumer wanted on the sell side. What was it? How much is my home worth? So smartly, all sorts of mathematicians and algorithm writers, they got together, spent some money, and they took all the big data that's out there, assessed values, MLS information, and they put it into a formula, and they came up with a mathematical guesstimate of value. Now, they're the first ones to say, hey, we know that this could be off by 20% because all it does is take big data. But at least they gave the consumer what they wanted. While all the real estate agents said, oh, boo-hoo, they're giving it away and they're killing the business. No, they're not. They're just simply making a move to give the consumer what they want so that they can begin what? A relationship. And they did. They got people to come and play that game. And on the buy side, what do the buyers want? The buyers have always wanted pictures of properties for sale. I can remember, I've been in this business so darn long. And as an investor, when I was, very young, I remember just going, I couldn't wait till the book came out to look at what? The pictures of properties and their details and their prices. I wanted that desperately every day. So in a digital context, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, before both of those companies, they just went out and gave the consumer a digital version of what they wanted. And the consumer went there. So are we all surprised that the companies that pay closest attention to what the consumer wants in the digital age got a lot of traffic? Why are we so surprised? They listened to the consumer better than even insiders in the industry. Let that sink in and learn from that. Now, you say, okay, Danny, so what are you telling me? Are you telling me to go out there and do what Zillow does and build this website that gives away and build my own algorithm? No, I'm saying you can already give what the consumer wants as a paying member of the National Association of Realtors and a member of MLS, which is access to the information they want. Now, again, I understand what an algorithm does and how it can come up with a valuation. And there is access to the Zillow API if they still give that away. If you really are a techie and you want to pull in, some sort of an algorithm into your website, sure. But I wouldn't even go there. You don't need that. What you need to do is tell people that, look, I can give you direct portal access to the multiple listing service, which will give you properties that have sold. Those properties that have sold are the public data now that give some indication of the direction of your value, right? That's what they want. So give it to them. Pictures of sold properties and digitize it by giving them a portal into MLS. Now, what that leads to is the third point here, is that all these big tech companies, most of them, I know some of them are hybrid brokerages and tech companies, but let's just suffice to say, Goliath is not you. And you are sitting there in this hyper-local situation where you have now just granted what Zillow and Trulia and Redfin and all those other companies are giving, which is a good digital presentation. You can do that at the back end of your MLS software. You can do the same. If your MLS doesn't have some kind of software like that, go yelling and screaming and get on the board and get a software in there that does it so that you can compete. But what it comes with when you offer it is what? Your insight. You see, as you give them what they want, sold properties, for sale properties, you're able to go in and add your insights. And what that starts to do is what? It builds trust with the consumer. It builds trust with that seller prospect, that buyer prospect. All of a sudden, you're the one that has them in the portal. Everything's coming with your brand on it, and you're being proactive, I hope, at that point in time by adding insights. Hey, did you see 123 Main Street? That was right up your alley. You really need to pay attention to that. It has a lot of the similar features that your house does. It was in pristine condition, but not too much money. If you'll notice the pictures here, all they did was clean up the landscaping. They did upgrade the bathroom. So like we discussed, probably a good idea. That's insightful information in real time. And by giving that insight, you're gaining more trust. You see, this give formula is building trust. Now, my last point here is what's actually happening. It's going to sound weird for me to say this, but the longer they're in there, I don't want them in there too long, or they're probably really too early to be a prospect where you should spend this much time giving. But let's suffice to say that the sweet spot is inside of 12 months. Somebody that's going to sell or buy in the next 12 months, your ability to go in there, get a portal going with them on your MLS and add your insights. And then, of course, your strategic approach on top of that, your tips, your 7 points, 6 points for the buyer. Sure, they'll allow you to do that the more that they trust you. But what you're creating by putting them in that portal and adding your insights is a competitionless vacuum. Let that sink in for a second. What you're actually doing by creating a portal in MLS for these sellers and giving the information that they want, access to solds and buyers for sales, you're adding that insight. Trust is building and competition is getting pushed away. That's a competitionless vacuum. That's a funnel that protects the business and makes it nice and steady. So let me reiterate this today. Today, what I want to talk about in this podcast, give them what they want. What does the consumer want? Learn the lesson from Zillow. I want to know what my home was worth. Zillow went out and created an algorithm and gave it to them. Then they gave them pretty pictures and easy access. They gave them what they wanted. So that starts with this reiteration of give, ask, give them what they actually want, add your insights to build trust, and that will help you create a competitionless vacuum where they trust you so much, they're almost scared to do this without you. So let me chunk this up as a key point. I'd like you to focus on the creation of a simple funnel that gives sellers and buyers what they want so that they trust you enough to listen to what they really need from you, which is your guidance, okay? Hey, remember, you can take immediate action and get started in the right direction with our free video course over freeagentgift.com. I know, all you veterans, I know, you got it down cold, right? Take it as just a quick reminder of how to organize the steps. And especially if you're bringing on team members, you can get them started with a very simple orientation. And of course, if you're a rookie, get in there. Learn how to do this right from the start. freeagentgift.com. We also broadcast our live sales training on Facebook every Friday at 1 o'clock EDT. So to remember to like the page over there, and you won't miss the notifications when we go live. That's where we actually talk about how to do things too. Why would you miss that? It's free. Hey, and if you like what you learned here, then we'd appreciate it if you would share these insights with other entrepreneurial real estate agents just like you so that they can come here and join us, because feedback is oxygen, right? Interaction is oxygen. It helps us all grow. And don't forget to subscribe or follow us on whichever platform you're listening so that you don't miss out on any of these insights. And hey, thanks for listening. I'm certainly humbled to be your guide here. Look forward to helping you in the next episode.
You've been listening to The Realty Classroom with Danny Griffin. Join us next time to continue learning how to build a smarter real estate agent business plan that helps you live a more fulfilled life.